Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Week 6 championship recap for the Marble Blast 2025 summer premiere. This is the last week of Swiss, and it's going to bring with it some of the most close, intense, and exciting matchups of the entire tournament. And today I'm joined here by a very special guest to help break it all down. We're bringing someone new on the show every week here, and today we have someone that has been known as a caster and a prominent player in the scene for years. So why don't you introduce yourself, Jacob?
Hi, I'm Jacob. I've been in the community since 2017. Uh, I've been playing the game pretty much every summer, and usually I'm mostly only active in tournament season, but I do play some single player outside of that. Always very invested in tournaments and happy to help wherever I can.
What made you interested in getting started as a caster in so many of the previous years?
Well, I've had other friend groups where we do, you know, similar games, certainly not as professional as this, but I've had some basic commentating experience with those, and I thought I could bring something new to the table.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we really appreciate it.
Of
How have you been
course.
enjoying the tournament this year so far?
It's been really fun. I mean, until a couple days ago, I've been really happy with all my matches, and I think I didn't do terrible last week, which we'll get to. So I've been really happy with it. I think you've done a great job running it.
Well, thank you. That's very kind. Yeah. So first thing we're gonna do is review this week's results. There's a lot of them and quite a few upsets, so I think there should be a good bit to talk about. Starting off at the bottom here, we have Inetro versus Deathlora. I think
In the same, Deathlore is kind of a free win, nicest
Y-
way possible.
yeah.
Enetro is a player who's been around for a while, but has kind of always stayed at the same skill level. But I mean, you've got to go out of your way to lose even a game to Deathlore.
Right. I mean,
So
even
yeah,
getting like
there's there.
half score, I feel like would be an accomplishment for Deathlore against some of the other bottom tier
I
players.
feel like they always get between 10 and 20 no matter who they're playing. It's really weird.
Well, we could say
I bet they're
consistency
playing
is the best
Deathlon or
element.
Quarter. It's still about 16.
Right. I mean, everyone is the same opponent to Deathlore.
Well,
I
hey,
think,
good for them for wanting to stay in it.
yeah, definitely good to
All
see them
right.
show up for all their
Yeah,
games.
for sure.
All right. Clip on the right here, we have a very close game between MBO and Eguy on the deciding match of Tilo.
Yes.
So a race up to the top here. And then we have our 1-0 versus Pasta Real, who was winless up to this point.
0-4. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he was
I
0-4.
I'll be fully honest because I didn't really get the chance to know most of them before the tournament started. I kind of get some of the new people mixed up, but I do know that Farmer's Wife is Kirk's wife and played Hughesmat very, very close. So I guess that means Pasta Real is pretty decent because Hughesmat is not a bad player by any means. So good win for Pasta Real.
Yeah,
And good.
definitely. Pasta Real is pretty quick. So I think that's kind of what has set them
Yeah.
apart is they put in the
Yeah.
effort to get the colored name. And
Hmm.
this match was largely won by that speed difference.
Give them a year and they'll take the arc that you're taking.
Yeah, definitely a lot of players looking like they could do the same thing in a couple
Really.
months' time.
We'll get to them shortly.
Yep. And then the clip here we have Endy versus Mazik, where the time is running out. They're both racing to the last spawn, and Mazik was actually able to take this one by 1 point at the
Yes, this
very
is one of
end.
the couple games that I saw firsthand. I think this is my recording actually.
Yep.
So I'll have some stuff to say for sure.
What were kind of your emotions watching this in the last few seconds of Vortex Effect?
Uh, I was happy for Mazik because I know him better, even though I guess I could be biased towards NG because we live in the same state. But yeah, I never really knew NG that much, and I've played lots with Mazik mostly last year. So in a game where he was kind of struggling, I was happy to see him get a win,
Yeah, I'm also a big
especially.
Mazik fan,
Yep.
and I definitely wanted to see this go to randomizer, so I was happy that he won this game in particular.
Yep.
Then we have the 1 in 3 matches. These were elimination matches for everyone involved. First up is Porter versus Plasma. I don't think this was ever
Plasma
going to be
seems pretty
close.
decent. I don't know much about either of them, but especially Porter, who I don't think has any relation to that old user T Porter.
No, none at all. Porter is one of
I
my
did not think.
my friends who just wanted to show up and have a good
Oh,
time.
okay. So didn't have to. All right, cool. Yeah, well, it looks like Plasma played a good game for
Yep,
you.
certainly so. We'll have to see how they can do in their second elimination match next week. I like the comment that Osas put on his tier list of Porter. He has less seconds played than some have hours played. So, yeah, that was still enough to take down Death Laura, though, last week. Moving on, we have.
That's something.
Hmm?
That's something at least.
Yeah, certainly. Moving on, we have GG
Mhm.
Jacob versus Element Lover. I think a lot of people thought that GG Jacob had improved quite a bit, but ultimately in the end, it wasn't enough to take a game off Element.
I didn't know Jacob at all. I played a few games with Element Lever, but when I first started practicing for the tourney, and they seemed okay, so I wasn't too surprised. I forgot what I bet, but I'm pretty sure I bet in favor of Element Lever.
Yeah, definitely a decent player. Then we have Ziggleflig versus Herzealous. This was the second edition of My Friends versus Turk's Family, and this time Turk's brother was able to take it.
Turkish family. Okay. Yeah, I thought Ziggleflick was one of your friends, but I wasn't positive.
Yeah, all three of them, Porter, Ziggleflig, Element, very, very new to the game, and Osas for that matter,
Yeah.
but he's a little
I was
bit
gonna say
further up.
Sauce, but he's kind of improved more
Yeah,
than the others.
certainly. Definitely a little bit more dedicated to performing well in the
Yeah.
tournament.
Mhm.
But yeah, nothing too special here. Ziggleflig probably should have won his pick of Ziggurat, as the name implies, but a last minute blue
Yeah.
gave the win to
It's a great
Herzealous.
point. I mean, you can't go with that name and not pick it in the tourney at least once.
Oh, he's picked it twice. He can't do it again for week 6, so
Perfect. All right.
gonna have to find something else.
It's too bad.
Yeah, we've got Power John taking an expected 3-0 over End Zone, which I don't
Yeah,
think anyone has
Power
too
John
much.
was has been seated way too low for a while. He hopped on my server and sometime in mid-June, and he beat me on my server at Terrace Tundra, which is one of my best maps. By
Uh,
like 3, but
Scary.
he is a very good player who could become dangerous if he really gets the gist of multiplayer.
That's definitely what's holding him back
But
at the
takes
moment.
oh for sure.
And then one of the closest series of the week, actually, we had Yoshicraft
Yeah,
224 versus Plat Oxide. I thought this was going to be a 5 game series the other way.
same. I had always kind of felt that Yoshi was just like close to good, but not quite there, and I kind of maybe overestimated Patoxide a bit. Maybe kind of put him in the same tier as like Pasta Real, but I
Mm-hmm.
think there's a gap there, and Yoshi just has more experience, and that's a major reason he won.
Definitely. And I predicted most of Yoshi's series to be very close. I'm giving him 2 wins in almost every series because he's willing to play those so-called schizo maps that no one else at his level of play
Uh,
really knows how to play. And that it
it's
really
kind
gives
of
him a
like
leg
A
up.
game, except he hasn't. It's like A game, except he hasn't made that leap to be still very good at the other maps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But very nice win to him. That was also one I recorded. And as we can see, that's the clip on the side of Cragmire.
Yeah, you and I casted this one. It was a pretty exciting
Yeah.
one, and I believe Flat
It was.
Oxide won this at the last minute.
Yeah, that was one of his wins, and I forgot if that was the first or second game we casted that day because I remember thinking I wanted to go light on it since I thought it was the second, but it was too good of a match to do that
Yeah, glad it turned out well.
for sure.
Moving on, we have the 2-2 bracket, the winners of which would qualify for playoffs, and there were a lot of sweeps in this one. Many of them expected. I think most people were thinking that Lasharkus
There's
versus T
only
Hirsch would
one
be
game won
closer.
by the losers. Yeah, there's only one game won by the losers on this entire sheet or slide.
What do you mean loser?
Oh, it's Surge took one game and everyone else got swept.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, there were a ton of sweeps in this part of the bracket, um, and most people thought Shark and Terry would be the closest of this bunch.
I really thought I wasn't sure because I hadn't played either of them in forever, if at all. Well, Shark was like 2018, but Terry, I don't think I ever have. Um, but especially considering what just happened, I'm really surprised to see that or Terry swept this. I forgot the scores. I was not home in many ways for the match, so I didn't see any of it. But clearly, very well played to him, and wonder how much luck factored into it.
Yeah, pretty much Shark had control of the whole series, but the one game that was close in particular was Horizon, which was Terry's only pick. That basically
Okay.
went down to the wire until the last couple spawns there, but Shark was able to take it out, and that kind of denied Terry having a second pick to get back in the
Yeah.
series, and that's why it was a
Kind of
sweep.
back to his 2018 form for a minute, throwing the Shark.
Yeah, very important for him to qualify for playoffs here and
Mhm.
sending Terry down to the elimination matches. Moving on, we have Robert taking a 3-0 over Subtract. I think Robert was just too good of a player to really
Robert has always been like perfectly average, not really better or worse.
a
He's
gatekeeper.
always like middle of the road where he can take some games here and there. He can compete. He'll beat the people he's supposed to. And Subtract is one of those people. I am not totally sure how good Subtract is, but he's had a couple rough series, so I may be overestimating him. He had a nice pre-seed though, I remember.
Yeah, definitely a solid player, and I would put them above most of the 1 and 3 bracket for sure,
Yeah,
but not
still
quite
very
there
decent.
to
But
compete.
Robert's experience just clears.
Definitely.
I mean, he's been doing this for what, 10 years at this point.
Yeah, that's true. Wilches versus Sir G was a very exciting series, and we were actually quite close to going to randomizer on this one with a tie
Oh
coming in
wow.
on Zenith.
Oh yeah, that was the one with the tie. And then I forgot, was that the one that Wilt closed it out on?
Yeah, Zenith closed out by Wilches in the second playthrough, and the clip from the second game of Zenith is actually on the right here. This mega was devastating.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Oh wow. Yeah, I gotta prepare for Wilt. Didn't get a bad draw, but he's really improved. We had a few games a few weeks ago, and I think he might have won one or two, but I know all of them were close. So should be an interesting series for that.
Yeah, which is definitely scary. And I think even more scary than his performance against Surge here was nearly taking Ignis to randomizer the week before. So you're definitely going to have your hands full with this
Ignis
one.
is. I haven't played him since 2023 tourney, but I have never won a game against him.
Yeah, still scary good.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had some expected results here. Babarika 3-0ing Blue Sock and Kago taking the 3-0 over Hughes Matt. Although I will say the Kago series was actually a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Hughes Matt nearly took core.
Yeah, Bob, you could argue he's a top 10 player if circumstances are right, and Kago has improved so much from pre-seed to my match with him to what he's at now. Two really, really good and on the rise players. I can't say young because I don't think Kago's that young, but
Yeah, they're in college. So
yeah,
definitely new and hungry, though, with their account only being 2 months
for
old.
sure. Mhm.
What was your experience like playing him in week one, since I don't think we've actually spoken since then?
No, we haven't. I went in thinking that he was on par with everyone else near him in the pre-seed and just picking the easy maps to get an easy win. And while I did sweep him, I'm fairly sure that with those same picks, I would not sweep him. Right now, maybe with different ones I would, but yeah, I definitely underestimated him even then.
Well,
He had me sweating. Had a lot of early leads or close to ties, and then I would pull away at the end, which is
that
sort of a characteristic of a lot of the young in like
right.
young
They don't have the
young game
endurance to keep it
wise.
up through a whole match, is
Yeah,
what I've
I know
noticed.
Wilch. From what you said in a previous video, Wilch kind of has that issue as well. So once these up and coming players can kind of adapt to that, there's no telling how good they could be.
Yeah, and your defense, I think everyone had underestimated him in that first series against you.
Yeah,
Winning those
and
fires was
I mean that
huge.
was like the only all things considered, that was one of the closest matches skill wise where we are now in the round one.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, moving on to the remaining 2-2 matches. I thought Osas might have taken a game off Eurobeater, but the score was basically the same difference between all
Eurobeater
three
beat me
games.
last year, even if I didn't play very good. So he is a very good player. He can beat all the people below him, like Surge. Probably did Wilchin Europeater play?
No, they haven't.
Okay, for some reason that sounded right to me, but I'm glad I asked. But yeah, Euro can beat most players and can compete with the better ones. So not too surprised, although I wasn't sure if Sauce maybe had enough to take one with how much he's improved, like everyone else.
Yeah, let me actually check here. I want to look really quickly at who Eurobeater has actually played because I feel like he hasn't
I
actually
thought he
had a
played
close
Zedron
game.
and just lost 3-0.
Yeah, so he's played
Let me.
Subtract, which was
I'm
a
looking as well. Okay,
3-1 on
three
Subtract,
one.
and then he lost to me and Zedron without taking a game. So like
I'm glad he
he,
played you.
yeah, he hasn't played a lot of people close to his skill
He
level.
had I, for, he had one blowout against you and two kind of average.
Yeah. So hoping in week 6 we have him against Jax, I think, which will be a really good test of where he's at
We do, yeah.
this
That'll
season.
be a really fun match.
Yeah. And then Jax
We'll get to
himself,
that later, though.
3-1
Yeah.
against
Speaking of,
Kali 29.
I really don't know how good Jax is because he got kind of steamrolled by A game, but at the same time he beat Cali pretty thoroughly, and that was the same score I had against Cali last year. So it's got to mean something. So I'm guessing Jax is just an extremely inconsistent player, but if he can play that well, he could beat a lot of people. And I know many were kind of predicting him as a dark horse to begin the tournament. So good match by
Yeah.
him.
I mean, the problem for people at like Eurobeater and Jax's level is that the level of play and competition this year is just so stacked. There's so many
You've
like
got like
top tier
20
players.
people who could theoretically win the tournament. Maybe not 20, but like 10 or 15.
Yeah, or at least make it to the semifinals, right? It's
Yeah, or like Final Four, whatever. Yeah, you've got about 20 people who I could see making a Final Four run.
yeah. And so when that happens, these kind of players that are more inconsistent have a really hard road ahead of them.
Mhm.
And I think Jax is a very good player, but I think his result against A Game was a testament to how much A Game has improved this season, rather than
I know,
a
and
poor look
just
on
from
Jax.
our match in week 2, where I beat him with a pretty convincing 3-1, I think that'd probably be a 3-2. Honestly, either way now, because we've played a lot. I've played the most with him for sure out of anyone this year. In the last couple sessions, he's beaten me most of the games.
Yeah, I've
So
noticed
I
a steep
something really
improvement
kicked.
too from him in the last couple weeks.
Yeah. Uh,
I guess we'll get to him later. uh,
yes.
finally, on this slide, we have Turk taking a 3-0 over Red Zone. And frankly, I thought Red Zone did a pretty good job considering this was a 3-0.
Yeah, I was following along just in the stream chat, uh, and it seemed like he was playing a very solid game because Turk is not an easy player to go against. But I don't know if he picked different maps, he would have maybe taken a game. But regardless, I think if you're red zone, you're pretty happy with that result, as Turk is very good.
Yep, and there was the ping differential. He actually opted to let Turk pick first and play on Nuremberg. So he only got to have one
Okay,
pick
yeah.
against Turk, which was requisite. And to be fair, that was a pretty close game.
Yeah, I don't know what the pre-seed results for both of them on that were, but I would hope he looked at them to kind of see if it was at least close enough to be worthwhile. Because
Yeah.
one thing about Turk is he doesn't have the general map knowledge to really make it far. Um, so you can exploit that, and that's kind of what I did um, last year and this year. But Requisite is something he's played at least once, so I feel like that might not have worked quite as good as some of the other new or maybe Platinum Quest maps.
Right. For the clip here, we have another one from Eguy versus MBO. This one was on sweep and very
Oh, I didn't
heartbreaking.
see this clip, but I heard about it. Oh my lord!
Yeah, brutal for MBO, which
Who ended up taking that game? Me guy?
MBO was actually able to win this one, and it was Eguy's pick. So that was
Oh
a
wow!
huge,
Well,
huge result for
that's
MBO despite
that's
this
really
play.
huge. You have that happen to you on your opponent's pick and still win. That's very big for him.
Yeah, he played a great game for sure. Probably the most impressive game from him in this series, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving on, we have the 3-1 games. First up is your result against Nakas. What was your experience like
The
playing?
one match I'm not excited to talk about that I played. Um, there's a few things I could blame it on. I'm not mad at my picks. I don't know if they were perfect, but I think they were okay. The thing with PCC is that I just didn't think Noctis would be playing the game enough to remember all of the spawn abuse points, but to his credit, he did, and that was enough to win, even though I think I made it kind of close in the last little bit. I know I was winning, and then he got a bunch of blues, and then I closed it a little bit, and then he just won. And
Yeah,
then his skate park square first half was one of the worst I've ever played, but I made it surprisingly close in the second.
that was
I had
surprising.
some nice.
Yeah, we were
Yeah,
watching the game and couldn't believe like how much you were bringing it back for a minute there, but unfortunately the lead was just a little too much to come back from.
it definitely the nerves definitely got me on the first two matches. Right after PCC, I was shaking like I wouldn't be unless it was a 5 game randomizer series. So I think that definitely threw me off. And I've noticed I played my best at late at night. Well, not super late, but like when it's dark at least. And that was an earlier game, so there were some distractions. And I just don't think I was fully focused and locked in. And then third game, Basin Hill, I really wish I just took that game and then lost game four. Um, as that was such a good comeback at the end. And Knock almost didn't have the awareness to notice that the game's tied. He just got a yellow. I gotta get that. And then comes in right at the end with a super speed. I don't even have time to process it, other than the fact that I lost by 2 points. So I just quit the game. I always like to either say GG or do the taunt, but I didn't because I would say I was more shocked than mad because I wasn't winning that series anyways. But a game would have been really nice, and that would have been a good one.
Yeah, I think Nakas was a little bit of a rough opponent for you to get drawn against because they're just so fast, and you're not really known to be an aggressive
Yeah,
player
and I
either.
said this in the server. I said this in the server, but I think the thing is that I don't really have any advantages against them. I won against Turk because of my better map knowledge. But Nakius is a little bit faster than me, just as good as, precision and pathfinding. Neither of us are aggressive, so if someone basically is the same as you, but a little bit better, it's kind of hard to win because you can't really do anything to change that. You just have to hope they get unlucky, and you do. And that
Yeah.
didn't happen, so. I'd be curious to see how that series goes in different circumstances, but I think he was probably winning 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment, but it was a really good effort on Basin Hill nonetheless. Would have liked to see you take that
Uh,
and get to see another game for sure.
I'd say, yeah.
All
And
right.
even if I didn't take it, I would have at least liked to get the world record right before, because I was practicing on Ashburn since I thought he was going to be ready earlier, and I accidentally got world record with comp mode on.
Yeah, it was what,
I'll
243?
have to go back. I think it's like 241, 42, or 43. It was in that area, I know.
Yeah,
But
that world record could
I'll
definitely
have
be
to try that when I
improved
get home.
because
Yeah,
I was on pace for like a 245 or something, and then I just started making a ton of mistakes myself. So it's out there for whoever
I'm
wants
pretty
it.
sure I was on pace for about a 240 to 245 the whole time, so it kind of evened out. But I'll have to try it again once I get home, like the normal computer.
I'm sure you can do it, man. Next
Yeah,
one
thanks.
is Mazik versus Endy, which ended up being one of the most exciting series of the
Yeah,
week.
yeah, this is has an argument to be match of the week for sure. I don't think anyone really knew what to expect from Endy because they had some matches where they really impressed and some where they weren't quite as good, like Connie, even though they still did okay. Um, but Um, they played really, really well against Mazik and were really good at taking advantage of his mistakes. Uh, they're both very fast players, so I think that kind of really evens out. And if that series was played again, I could see Mazik taking it 3-2, but I think it was always going to be very close, and it was.
Yeah, I would say that Endy has even improved since we saw him against Connie. Like he's just
Yeah,
adapting to
I
multiplayer so
mean,
quickly, and he always had the top speed.
and we've seen so many players do that same thing, so him doing it is not too surprising, I guess.
And moreover, like almost every single game was very close. Fun in the Sun, Endy won by 4 points, and Vortex Effect we spoke about
Mhm.
earlier, 1 point the way of Mazik. Even the randomizer was within 10. So I mean, this
Yeah, the
definitely could have gone
randomizer
either
was
way.
very close. It was just a great series and one I'm glad I was able to record and I think cast.
Hmm.
Yeah, I casted. We both casted, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, what are your thoughts
Yeah.
on Endy joining the 4-1 group of players after this? I feel like no one would have
I
expected
you
that.
know, you've got like a group of 10 or so where you kind of just throw them in a hat and pick two or three and they get 4-1 and the rest get 3-2 and Andy was just kind of one of them, you know. I think they're very close to a lot of players around them. I think they're a solid around top 10, maybe a little better or worse.
Hmm.
But they had a great showing and they definitely deserve that record.
Yeah. Good stuff. Moving on to John versus A Game. Looking at the clip here on the right, this Fun in the Sun match was one of the funnest matches of the tournament, I gotta say. It wasn't even that close, but John
Yeah,
just
let's see. It
really
was like a
stretched
20
his
point win,
legs.
but look at this and tell me this isn't fucking awesome.
It was the whole game like this.
I mean, yeah, it's just such a good, such a perfect storm of players that are just chaotic, and they delivered even though it wasn't a randomizer. A game played very well. It had a chance to win a couple games, but Jean's experience and better map pool and knowledge just won out. Even though A game was able to win his usual Eye of the Storm.
Yeah, but that was A Game's second Eye of the Storm pick, so he's gonna have to find something else in
Yeah,
week
very,
six.
very, very comparable to my match with him. 3-1, where A game 1-1, and then that.
Right. I think it would have been
Although
a
I
very
beat him.
tall ask for A Game to win on John's pick, so it really came down to A Game's
Uh-huh.
pick of Bowl, where he wasn't able to convert. It was just a little bit
Mm-hmm.
too many mechanical mistakes, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Bowl's a tough map because I always end up just missing gems here and there.
Yeah.
It's so hard to predict your momentum.
That's basically what happened. Is he had better pathing than John and better power preparation pretty much the whole match, but would repeatedly miss yellows. And a couple of spawns were
Mm-hmm.
just way better for John, and he got swept on those. It's just too much of a gap to make up.
Yeah, sucks.
Yeah. I do wonder if that. I guess we'll get into that next week, but it's going to be weird seeing him play against Connie. Moving on, we have
Yeah, that's.
Zedron versus Ignis, which is another match that went to randomizer this week.
I had this as an Ignas win because, frankly, at this point in time, with what they've shown and what I know about them, I'm a little bit more scared of Ignis. But Zedron, everyone knows who he is. He's a three-time champ. Right? Not two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, three-time champ. Just as good in Swiss as he is in playoffs, where you've got someone like Eguy who is usually better in playoffs than he is in Swiss. Um, so I thought this was a pretty good upset pick, but Ignas just barely wasn't able to pull it out.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I thought it was going to be 3-1 to Zedron because I feel like these are kind of the same profile of player. Very fast, not known for aggression, and very
Yeah,
much
that's
not
true.
practicing, right?
That's that is very true. Yeah.
So I consider Zedron to just be the better with those two profiles, or one profile, but two players. So that's kind of
You
why
can
I thought
also lump
Zedron would win.
Notguess. You can lump Notguess right in with them. Everything applies to them as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's actually crazy how similar they all are.
Yep. Looking at the actual maps that were played, Ignis had Pyramid pulled out, which was a pretty interesting one, but it was extremely effective into Zedron, who probably hasn't played that
Yeah,
map.
Ignaz's map pool, at least on paper, should be better than Zedron's, but randomizer is randomizer, and I guess it benefits Zedron.
Yep, and it went to Duplex, and I know Ignis has not
Yeah,
really
Duplex.
played a lot of these new maps, and Duplex has barely been played at all this tournament,
Duplex is
actually.
one of the few I just have not really gotten into, and I don't even know why. I just
Yeah.
haven't played it much or really enjoyed it yet.
I think you're not alone in that. A lot of people like seem to think that it's a map that they should enjoy because of its sprawl like layout, but when it actually comes to
But, like,
playing the
it
map,
should be good, but
yeah, there's like something missing for them.
uh-huh.
Interesting though. I mean, maybe we can reflect at some point about the map pool in this tournament because I feel like there's a lot
Yeah,
of
I'll be interested
interesting.
to see after the tournament's over how that shapes up.
Yeah, currently the
Shapes out,
top
I should
spots
say.
are occupied by Treasure Box for point farming and King of the Marble for upsets. So, not too much to dive in with the data just yet.
No.
All right. Now moving on to our 4-0 versus the 3-1 of Connie, taking on Frostfire. I thought Connie was going to take a map with her very interesting map pool, but it was not meant to be, although some of them were very, very close.
They were very close, and this could have gone. I don't think Connie was ever going to win, but this could have gone 3-1 or maybe 3-2. Um, I played some games with Frost after this match happened, so I can't really say as I know that I knew before. And I won a few. I beat him on Treasure Box, so I think Frost is somehow at his peak, yet still beatable just because of how good people have gotten. So, um, at 3-0 isn't anything to be embarrassed about because it's Frostfire, but I think there were winnable games for sure.
Yeah, I think the Nadir game in particular, as we see here on the right, Frostfire was making a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes.
Yeah, as you can see right here, misses the blue, and Connie gets that, which she took advantage of, but I guess just wasn't enough.
Well, that blue in that corner was the main character of this map. It appeared probably 4 times, and there was
Oh
a
God,
point where both of them missed
I
it.
hate that blue because it always seems like it's so easy to get, and then those fans are just stupid powerful.
Yeah, you either come in with a super speed or gyro or from the air, and if you don't,
Yeah,
you're not getting that blue.
and if you overshoot with the gyro, you have to slow down, and then the fans blow you away from it.
Yeah, I've definitely
So
seen
real
enough of this
annoying the way
map.
you have
After practicing
to.
for John, I never want to play this again, for sure.
Mm,
But yeah, basically, Connie was 7 points away from taking 2 of the maps if you add Eye of the Storm
yeah.
and Nadir together. So she was a little upset that not one of the maps went her way.
I
But
would be too, but
yeah,
she clearly played very well on those two, especially. So
yeah. And Connie being the
going ahead.
unfortunate one from the lower bracket here is actually going to
Yeah,
move her
you
to
already
another
get
loss.
drafted by Toronto, and then you have some unlucky moments. That's just brutal.
Yeah, so she's going
And
to
Connie's
be.
already had a really tough schedule. So,
Yeah, she has the highest strength of schedule of anyone in the tournament.
uh-huh.
So very,
And
very
that's
tough.
not going to change with A game.
It's absolutely not. Her and Mazik probably have the 2 hardest schedules of anyone in Swiss. So she's gonna have to hope she can
I
convert to the
haven't.
four
The
and two.
only incredible person I've played is Voltage, but I haven't played anyone bad at all. So I've got to be up there too.
Yeah, I mean most people in that
I pretty much. Yeah.
most people playing for the 4 and 2 have had a very tough time of it.
Uh-huh. Because you're kind of in between.
Yeah, and the level
Like,
at
not
that
quite
point is
amazing,
so
but certainly not
competitive this
average or
year.
even bad. Mm-hmm.
All right. Now we're going to go into one of the more controversial ones,
Oh boy.
which I was a part of. I don't know. I
I'll
can't.
let you speak for the most part on this one, but I'll have a couple things to say.
All right. Well, maybe you should start. I don't want to influence you.
I'll start. So I had just gotten home when this match was on randomizer, and by the time I checked Discord, it was on Pyramid, and like 5 seconds later, I see the most notable moment from this match happen, and it's in this recording. So they go to the next spawn. Voltage gets a gyro and does just a great edge hit off there. I don't even know if that was intentional. But you blast him straight down, get the blue, and stay on to collect the rest of the spawn. And you were winning by a little bit already, maybe like 5 or 10. So the luck was definitely going your way, along with just playing a little better. But right then and there, Voltage just kind of had enough. And I'll let you continue from here.
Yeah. I'm not sure how much I want to say about this game given the outcome.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say how much you want to go into it.
I will explain the clip though. I had better
Uh-huh.
preparation at this point because I had super jump and blast, which is the most important part of pyramid in my mind. I had a very bad pre-seed score on pyramid. I didn't really have a lot of blues, and I'm not very quick at navigating the map, but I am very good at it in multiplayer because it involves a lot of thinking ahead and a lot of blast. So at this point, I super jump in the air and I hear gyrocopter. So I actually slow down in order to find where Voltage is and then knock him away, denying him the blue. Which I guess a lot of people didn't pick up on, but this is just kind of the blast shenanigans that I'm known for in my playstyle. And I think it was the perfect storm of bad luck for Voltage, an infuriating blast, and me using his own blue steel taunts against him that really was the one thing to snap him. So it was only a 10-point lead after this point, but he got sent out of bounds and respawned down there. So by the next spawn, it was 15 points. I had almost double his score, and that was enough for him.
And looking at the previous matches, was SBR first?
Yeah, I picked SBR.
Yeah, and you got your ass whipped on that.
I absolutely did. You know, I play
And
SBR
then
because it's a map where you can kind of
I had
camp.
a really good game with John on that one, where I won in the last second with a blue spawn.
That's what I was hoping for, is the
It's never
blues.
been one I thought that I'm good at, but I've had good results with it, and when it was the 2023 pre-seed and a couple multiplayer matches as well. And then second was Skate Park Square, which is funny because you won that one. I
I didn't think
think
I
you came
would
back in that one.
after the first game.
Was yeah. And then Voltage, I think picked. What did he pick third? Well, second. Let me see. Oh yeah, Cragmire, which is filled with megas and blasts. Which, I mean, you guys are the two best players at that in the league. So,
Yeah, I mean,
kind of strength on strength, and
ping disadvantage for him was a big deal there. We as soon as we spawned in front of the mega and there was a blue on the other side, I knew that it was going to be a very good start for me.
oh, oh, I guess I missed. I guess I misread. Uh,
Yeah, I took Cragmire, and he took.
Oh yeah, it was Cube Isle that you picked, and Voltage beat you on that. And then he picked Cragmire, and you beat him on that. And then it went to random, where Pyramid happened. So I don't really think Voltage was in the right or the wrong, but it's not something that's ever happened before. And just to note, he will not be getting sanctioned from upcoming tournaments.
Yeah, we're gonna sanction the reigning champion from participation in the tournament.
Placing tariffs on him somehow.
Yeah, maybe.
But it was a really fun match that unfortunately probably would have been match of the week in different circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to say he couldn't have come back in this pyramid game, but I think.
And it's not there's nothing wrong you did or that he did really. So
Yeah, just unfortunate for sure. I had some more things I wanted to
although I
say
will
about
say
this.
blasts are demoralizing.
Yeah, no, I am far from the, or he is far from the first player that I have made rage quit from a game. First one in the competition, but this is the first time that Voltage has lost since 2023 in a competitive setting. So I imagine that
That's a good point.
this was a
Because he
unfamiliar
did
experience
go
for him.
the left year.
Yep. And this is now 6 games in a row that I have lost my pick. So I have not won on my own pick since week 2, and I am undefeated. So that's a fun fact for you.
Crazy.
Yeah. 3 randomizer rounds in a row.
I was gonna say 3 randomizers too, and you won all of them.
Yeah, I did not really have that on my bingo
So
card to be a
the
clutch
playoffs
player.
to win all your randomizers.
Yeah. Crazy.
Well,
It's
that
very
is
weird.
the recap of yeah.
Very weird being a 5-0 player. I did not think this was going to happen when I started, but I guess that's the level of competition this year.
Goes.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I'm just happy to secure top 5 at this point. Frosty's
Mhm.
going to be huge, but we'll get to that later.
If you can beat Voltage, I think you can beat Frosty.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. And to be honest with you, I didn't really know what to play into Voltage that well. I've played Frostfire a lot more.
I know, like, what are his weaknesses? I mean, I had the Shoreman once. That was good enough for me.
Yeah, I mean, you did play him too. Like, what was your experience with that? Did it feel like hopeless or anything?
I was really happy with it. I didn't feel like I was doing terrible or that this was a nightmare. I just felt like he's the better player. He's playing really well. I'm playing really well, but he's just better.
Yeah.
I don't really think I was winning Marble City or Stadium. And I forgot what map he closed me out on. It's Playground. I could have won Playground, but I don't
The
know.
Blues were brutal for you, man.
I know. It's very, very luck favored for him, but I don't think I would have won a hypothetical randomizer anyways.
Right. Yeah, I was super impressed with your Eye of the Storm game, so you have that to
Mhm.
be happy about for
Yeah,
sure.
I do, and I'm very happy with that. As long as I can get that one game where I'm happy, it's good enough for me on a match where I'm not expecting to win.
Yeah, that's a good attitude. Now we have our match of the week to talk about. Eguy versus MBO
We do.
Ultimate. Eguy not taking a single game against MBO and since 2023, I believe. So, and
That's impressive.
they've played each other a lot. So this was a huge deal for Eguy to be able to strike back.
Certainly. I was not here for this match. I don't know if I was gone or just not paying attention. But this is one of the biggest rivalries we have in the game today, and it really delivered. Um, it looks like okay, so Eguy wins his pick of Basin Hill, which I know MBO hates, but he played it with me the day of the Noctis match and beat me by like 20, so I don't know how much that really means. Uh, and MBO picks PCC and squeaks out a win. Were there any notable moments on that one that I've missed?
Eguy actually took PCC.
Oh, sorry, I misread.
Yeah, it's a little weird
Okay,
with
so
the
yeah, Eguy
graphic.
wins MBO pick of PCC. Now you're good. Uh,
So at this point, MBO was down 2-0, and everyone thought that Eguy
yeah,
was finally going to sweep him. And he did take him to
and
sweep, but it didn't
ironically,
go his way.
the sweep the sweep attempt was ruined on sweep, where we saw that just hilarious block bounce gif. But MBO still ended up taking that,
Right. It was very, very
and
impressive to
then
strike back.
MBO for sure, and then MBO goes to his standard MBU map of Zenith. I'm not totally sure why I didn't pick that for his PCC round, but wins that, and then we go to randomizer. Uh, and you can fill in from here.
Yeah, very close game. The randomizer was pretty interesting. I would say that Tilo is definitely a fitting map to end on because both of these players really love it. When I had the
I was gonna
featured
say this is very good for both of them. I can see both of them playing it a lot.
Yeah, it's
Doing
funny because
good.
I had this as my featured matchup in the previous week's weekly roundup, and I had, that map graphic I have where it shows the pool of each. I actually had Tilo in the middle, so it's fitting that we were able to end up here on the randomizer, and it was a very close, very intense back and forth game. I think Eguy definitely led most of it, but you could tell that he was kind of losing steam by the end. And MBO is like ever consistent, ever resilient, and he was starting to claw it back, and it came down to the last spawn where Eguy was able to, I believe, super speed and get a couple of the points needed to secure enough to get
Oh
him over
wow.
the line. Very, very
Jeez.
exciting.
Yeah.
This is going to be a match that
Never heard
he
about
remembers for a
that.
long time, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Happy for him. That's something he really needed.
Yeah, and MBO drops into the 2 loss bracket, which is going to be brutal for someone. Uh, it's crazy the level of players that are at 2 losses because
I know the 3-2 can range from solid player to previous tourney winner.
yeah, I mean, we've got Mazik, Connie, Ignis, MBO in there. It's going to be absolutely disgusting. All right, let's take a break and go to look at the ELO dashboard for the week. I got to say, this is probably the most accurate of a leaderboard that we've seen. Not
I'm
necessarily me
surprised
near the
at the
top,
large
but
gap between you and us, but you've had so many randomizers that I guess it just kind of places you
yeah.
a bit lower. Then we got Zedron. I like how Zedron has had a down year and he's third.
Mm-hmm.
And then Endy at fourth, very impressive. Eguy fifth, Voltage goes down to sixth. Jean at seventh, Nakas eighth, Connie ninth, and Bob 10th. Very impressive for him. Then MBO, Ignas, Mazik, Turk. Turk, Wilch, me. Guess it's a very fair matchup for me this week with the ELO ratings. And then A Game, Robert, and the rest.
Yeah, not a lot of huge shifts. We're getting to the point where most people are kind of playing someone their level, and there's not really a lot of like big upsets. So
Not a lot of huge shifts besides for me. I
yeah,
went down four.
unfortunate
That's
-4. Although Voltage also went down 4, and Barbarica went up quite a bit from the Battery and Blue Sock.
yeah.
And I gotta say, this
Uh-huh.
was intended by Barbarica because he took Blue Sock to Treasure Box and Prophetic to farm the point differential, and he has been rewarded for it in the Elo
Yeah,
because
I
that
haven't
does
really
matter.
focused on point differential. I haven't really focused on point differential because I haven't played anyone bad.
Yeah. I mean,
Or even just below average.
how much would you say like this kind of leaderboard lines up with your expectations of the power of each player, like personally?
I mean, the top 3 are good. The top 10 is pretty solid. I don't know if Endy's 4th, but I think there's an argument. Uh, and then you could kinda order the top 15-ish and cutting off around me or A game, kind of the same. Um, I would say I could probably beat people like Shark, and we'll see about Wilch. I did beat Turk, so there's that. But it's a pretty solid way to view it, and I think it's definitely a useful tool to have.
Yeah, I've enjoyed having it, even if it hasn't been like the most super
Mm,
accurate, especially the first
yeah,
weeks.
no, it's something for sure.
Yeah, we didn't have a fun stat this week really, so you get this one. Uh,
Uh,
but yeah. All right, moving into predictions.
Alright.
Tell me what's gonna happen in this exciting match between Deathlore and Endzone.
Give me a sec to pull up my bets. Like 15 seconds. I just gotta copy them. I'm gonna paste them in our DM so I can uh parallel.
Nice. I'm not gonna look at them until you go one by one, so don't worry about that.
Uh, Alright, so for there's not much to say here. Endzone just has to have a pulse to win. Um and as far as I know he does. So expect Deathlore to get some more 16 maps.
Oh man, yeah. You know, it was so funny. I asked you about the Deathlore match. It was like, hold on, I need a sec. Like you're thinking about the outcome. Yeah.
Oh, if I thought of that, I would have just said it right away. But I wanted to get my bets anyways for the ones that are
Yeah, you're
close. So
good. It was just funny.
yeah, should be an easy win for Endzone here.
Definitely agree. Thank you, Deathlord, for participating, but this will be the last match for
I was
both
about to
players.
say, I mean, it takes something to get walloped every week and enjoy it. So good for her.
Truly the best controller player to participate in this tournament.
I forgot that she uses controller. That's crazy word.
All
Oh
right.
man.
This is the
All
one in
right.
four bracket, which is basically playing for fun at this point.
Yeah. I think Pastoril should take this pretty easily. He had a very good match last week, and Initro isn't really any better than who's it, Jacob? Or was it?
Jacob actually
Uh,
won 3-1 against Enetro, I believe. Other
okay.
Jacob, not you.
Jakub.
I've gotten 3-0 as well.
I think Pastoril is going to take it. I have 3-1, but I might change that if I can. I forgot if you can right before it.
Well, if you haven't put them in the channel and the matches haven't happened yet, you can feel free to steal my homework. Next up, we have Porter
No,
versus
I'll keep it.
Jacob, which is actually probably going to be an FF because I think Porter's out of town this week. So I don't
Oh,
want to force you to
well,
make a bet on that.
I only bet 300 on Jacob, so that's too bad.
Yeah,
But I think he would have won without Porter being out of town, anyways.
yeah. I think Porter probably
I
could have
feel like
taken a
Porter.
game.
Yeah.
Then we have Farmer's Wife versus Ziggleflag, which is the finale of the trilogy between my friends and Turk's family. So very excited for
I
this
don't
one.
know Ziggleflint very well, but I have them pulling it out 3-2.
Okay, I've gone for 3-1 for Farmer's Wife. I think Farmer's Wife is actually a little bit better than Her Zealous, and Her Zealous was able to
Okay.
3-1 Ziggleflag. So,
Okay, then I didn't do my research, I guess. My
well,
apologies.
you do not have to apologize. I'm not expecting laser accuracy at this point in the table.
No, especially on the ones that aren't for playoff
Right.
potential.
These players are just playing for
But
fun. So, I mean,
it'll be a
who's
fun
to
match for
say?
sure. I think it'll be somewhat close.
I think so too. I definitely see both of them taking a game in this series.
Uh-huh.
Moving on to the spoiler match, Element Lover has 2 wins and is eligible to qualify for playoffs, but Plat Oxide, you have to say, most people think is probably the better player here without any opportunity to qualify for playoffs. So, how will that affect the dynamic of this match?
I kind of guessed, and I picked Element Lover winning 3-1. Um, I thought Platoxide looked pretty beatable versus Yoshi. And I thought Element Lover had a couple decent games, so I guess that's that.
Yeah, I've gone for a 3-1 for Plat Oxide. I think
Yeah.
Plat is a good player. I think he's had some unfortunate matchups. You know, Yoshi's definitely a hard one to get eliminated by.
Mhm.
People have qualified for playoffs with harder matchups than Yoshi, I feel like, or will by the end of this week.
Oh,
And given that he took
Yeah,
Yoshi to randomizer, and Yoshi has a very good shot at qualifying for playoffs
that is
himself,
true.
I think he's going to have a
Mhm,
good chance here. But I mean, there's a world where Element wins for sure, especially if you consider that Plot Oxide isn't actually playing for anything.
And I mean, Element's trained by you, so it can only be so bad.
Yeah, he's not the best listener, let me tell you, but there is some talent in there somewhere. All right, now this is where things get really interesting. I feel like these are the elimination
These are,
matches. It
oh
should say
boy.
2 and 3 in the top right. That's my mistake. But either way, this is the 2 win bracket where both of them on both sides need to win and you're in for playoffs. And if you lose, you're out of the tournament. Tell me about Kali versus Subtract first off.
I have Subtract winning 3-2, and my main reason for this is Subtract just having a bit more knowledge of some of the different maps, but that might not even be true, honestly. So I could definitely see Kelly taking this, which is why I didn't bet too
Yeah,
much on it.
I've
But
gone for a 3-1 for Kali. I think Kali has a ton of map experience from the past years where they were very good at multiplayer. But I think what's really tipped the
Mhm.
scales for my decision here is the fact that Kali got a new keyboard, I believe, to play
I
with.
was just gonna mention that I totally forgot. If there's any bet I'm gonna change, it might be that one because I completely forgot about that. That might be huge for him.
Yeah, and I think Kali's also the kind of player that gets exponentially better as the tournament goes on and the matches get more high stakes. And if you're
Hmm.
gonna be in an elimination match, this is the time to show up. So I think Kali definitely will. But Subtract should be good enough to play him close in at least a couple games. Moving on, Osos versus Yoshicraft. Very, very
I
interesting
think
match.
I think Sauce is better than Patoxide, and for that reason, I have him winning 3-1.
Cool. I've gone for a
I think he's
3-2.
better at both maps than Yoshi, and is good enough to maybe take one of his picks.
Interesting. I think Yoshi has far more toxic picks than Osos will be able to handle, but I think Osos will win his picks and Yoshi will win his picks. And then, like you say, I think Sauce is better across the whole pool for the randomizer.
Mhm,
So that's why I've given
mhm.
it 3-2
I
to
also
him.
don't know which of Yoshi's favorite maps he's picked twice, if any, so that could affect
Yoshi?
things. Yeah, him.
Yeah, Yoshi has used ramps revamps twice, and I think that's actually
Okay, that's
it.
it. Yeah, he's still got some stuff left in
He
that
has an
case.
Eye of the Storm pick left, which I guarantee you he's going to pick this week.
Hmm.
I mean, against a new player like Osos, I think that is probably the best pick that you can use.
Yeah, that's brutal, but I could see him doing that for sure, and I think he'd probably win in that case. Not the whole match, but that game.
Yeah, for sure. Although Osos didn't look absolutely terrible against Eurobeater on Eye of the Storm this week, so Yoshi will have to keep that in mind.
No, it wasn't bad at all. So maybe he could steal it. Who knows?
Yep.
That's for us to find out.
Either way, definitely one of the most interesting elimination matches. But another one that is very cool coming up is Blue Sock versus Plasma, or the Battle of the Stink, as Blue Sock referred to it.
Um, I have Plasma winning this actually 3-0. Because I just think he's the more experienced and more stable to an extent player. And I think he's gonna win most maps, although I could see it being maybe 3-1.
Interesting. Are you going off of that because of like his colored name status, or what kind of makes you feel he's?
Just what I've seen from them and how I've seen them play against other people, I don't know. It was a match that kind of glossed over me.
Yeah, that's valid.
I kind of glossed over,
I've gone for a 3-2 for Blue
but
Sock. I've probably played more against Blue Sock than most people, so I can tell he's
yeah, I have
pretty
never
quick.
played against either of them. So
Yeah. Blue Sock's drawback
to
is
be honest, I
he's
kind of get
tiltable.
Plasma, Patoxide, and Pasta Real all mixed up because they all are
They're all
about as good
P's.
and start.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I got you for sure. I think Blue Sock is probably a better multiplayer player, but Plasma's probably going to keep a cooler head in this series.
Hmm.
But ultimately, I think Blue
Yeah.
Sock will be fast enough. And what really differentiates Blue Sock for me from the other players is he's willing to play the expert maps in the pool, which is not something that people at his level are
That's
really willing to
interesting.
do.
Yeah, I did not know that. At least
Yeah,
really take it into account.
he's picked Parkour Peaks and Basin Hill multiple times, so I think
Oh,
those are
all
picks that
right.
can really catch out
Yeah,
Plasma.
that definitely shows that you're willing.
Yeah. looking at what he's picked, he's got Basin Hill, Parkour Peaks, Spires, Parkour Peaks, and Eye of the Storm.
My God. Wow.
So
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think.
That might be enough to beat Plasma if he's not experienced with those.
Yeah, that's kind of where my prediction comes from here.
Mhm.
Next up, we have Terry versus Red Zone.
Red Zone looked really good compared to what I thought, and Terry, I guess by comparison, looked not bad, but worse than what I thought with his sweep of the track. So this could be a sneaky good match. I have Terry winning 3-1 just because I think he's the better player overall, but I would not be surprised to see a 3-2 or maybe even a 2-3.
I went for a 3-1. I think this might actually be the first match we agreed on besides Deathlore.
Yeah, yeah, we have the same exact pick.
Yeah, so yeah, I think it could be a lot closer than I guess what you would expect from the names alone.
Sure.
So keep an eye on this one for
I think
sure.
it's a sleeper pick for a good match.
Yeah, and I haven't predicted 3-0s for any of these elimination matches yet, which I think is really exciting for the quality of games this week.
Yeah, and you might be end up being right because these are 2-2 versus 2-2 after all.
Yep. One that I will think is going to be a sweep though is
Yeah.
Sergi versus Herzelis. I think this is just a little bit too much of a
Serge
mismatch.
Serge is a great player who's gotten unlucky, and Herzelis is decent. I think this should be pretty easy work for Serge.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree. I think Serge is one of the worst people you can draw in this bracket for sure.
Absolutely.
So unlucky for Herzelis, but yeah, thanks for playing in the tournament. It's been really good to have you. And final elimination match, very, very bad draw for Hughes Matt going up against Power John.
Dude. That is so rough for him because Power John is probably going to destroy him.
Yeah.
Hughes Matt is better than End Zone for sure, but I don't think he's going to take a game just because of the raw skill difference.
Power John is too fast.
But if Hughes Matt picks a map where the skill is really taken out of it and there's lots of power-ups and multiplayer features, he could steal a game, but I also have 3-0.
The unfortunate thing about attempting that strategy against Power John is that you're playing on Singapore ping. So if you try and play King of the Marble, exactly. You're going to have a bad time.
And there's no good middle ground between Czechia and Singapore unless we're going to, like, Mongolia or whatever.
Yeah, I think the last time they played on Hillsborough, which was, like, bad ping for both, but oddly enough fair. So maybe they'll use that.
Maybe that. Yeah, that could work.
Either way, I don't think Hughes Matt's going to be able to defeat Power John like A Game and John have done.
I think Power John will punch his ticket to the playoffs.
Yeah, and he's definitely a playoff caliber player, so well deserved. These games are rough, man. Oh, this 3-2-1 bracket is incredibly brutal. Connie versus A Game to start. The battle of the Schizo map enjoyers.
I think this is going to be very close to me versus A Game and John versus A Game. A Game's good enough to take at least one, maybe two picks, but Connie is a very, very good player who has shown lots of flashes and has just kind of gotten a bad draw. So I think she pulls this one out 3-1.
Yep, I think Connie could easily have been a 4-2 or maybe even 5-1 player if the matches went a bit differently. I mean, her losses are both 5-0 players. She's lost to me and Frost. So you really can't get more unlucky with.
No. Also, when you said that Connie could be a 4-2 player, she probably will if this goes how we think it will.
That's true. That's a good point. But even so, she shouldn't have to work this hard for it.
No, not at all. A Game is such a hard match compared to a month ago.
Yep. I mean, looking at some of the players she could have gotten, like Robert or maybe even Turk, to be honest with you. Yeah, definitely a harder draw. Yeah. Oops.
Sure.
I forgot to change Turk's picture, and so he's going to be Terry for today, but that's fine.
Okay. It looks like his marble.
That's a good point. It's got the same color scheme, doesn't it?
Actually, it really does.
All right, we'll call it intentional then. But yeah, I think A Game's out of Eye of the Storm picks. So to be fair, maybe Connie will throw him a bone and pick that one for the memes. But overall, I think A Game's not going to have enough ammunition to really throw off Connie because Connie's going to be good at all the crazy maps that A Game's willing to play.
Mm-hmm.
And Connie's also good across the whole pool. So that's going to be a tough
Mhm.
match for A-Game in the same way that John was a hard opponent for him. So
Yeah,
unfortunate. But it'll be a big upset if he can do
yeah,
it. I'm definitely excited to see how this one goes either way.
for sure.
Next up, Ignis versus Robert. I think this one will be an easy sweep for Ignis. How about you?
Yeah, the Ignis is a great player who can do just as good as the best of the best, and Robert is a good player who can beat most people worse than him. I think Ignis takes this easily because Robert doesn't have any clear advantage.
Yep, I don't see any reason why this would be different than Connie versus Robert last week. So, yeah,
Exactly, that's very comparable.
yep,
Even though Connie's a bit more flat compared to skill versus Ignis, who's probably better skill, but not quite as much like aggression and speed.
right. Tough way for Robert to end the Swiss stage for sure,
For
but
sure,
he's at
but
least in
he
playoffs.
did make the playoffs at least.
Yep, we're on the same train. Next up is your
Mhm.
match against Wilches. You don't have to give me a prediction, but what are you kind of expecting from
I
this in
don't know
terms
what's
of
gonna happen, but
gameplay?
it's an exciting match because I haven't played him since he was very new in 2023, and it was an easy sweep. Actually, it was I feel like maybe he took a game off me. Forgot. But regardless, Wilch has improved so much in the past 2 years. He belongs right with these people, and I gotta be very careful with what I do and pick because even though I'm obviously favored, this could be an upset if I don't play my cards right. So
I don't even think
I'm
it'd be
not gonna
that
give a
much of an
prediction.
upset. I think Wilches is right there with you. I do think that you are going to take this though, 3-2. But if Wilches won, I don't think many people would be surprised at this point, given his improvement.
No, yeah, he's very good.
Yeah, but it should be very exciting. Whoever makes it to 4 and
Mhm.
2 out of this will definitely deserve it.
I also don't know how much my temporary setup is going to impact me because it's either gonna be at my friend's house, which I have to really plan accordingly, or I'll have to do some hooking up with the equipment we have at this rental, which might end up being better because I'm not playing with a laptop keyboard.
Hmm.
So I'll have to get that figured out to really have an idea of how close to full strength I'll be.
Yeah, that's fair. Either way, should be a good one. Next up, we have
Sure.
Mazik, who after playing MBO in week 3, Voltage in week 4, and ND in week 5, is now rewarded with Babarika in week 6. What are we expecting from this?
Uh, yeah, the first person I played with when I started playing the game again this summer was Bob, and he beat me every single time, about 5 or 6 matches. It's crazy how much he's improved, even if I haven't played him since. Uh, he took MBO to randomizer. What was didn't Mazik beat MBO
Mazik
randomizer?
did 3-2 MBO and MBO
Yeah.
3-2
Okay, so
Babarika.
in that case, I think this should be a 3-2 to Mazik,
Yeah,
who looks
that's
somewhat
a fair
vulnerable against
prediction.
MBO.
I've given it 3-1. I think Mazik has the
Yeah,
speed that Babarika has and also just better multiplayer knowledge. But unfortunately
also gonna
for
be more level-headed.
Well, yeah, in theory, but unfortunately, I feel like nerves have really plagued Mazik's play this tournament. I think
That is true, they both had lots of issues with that.
yeah, last year Mazik wasn't really seen as a tournament contender, and he kind of had nothing to lose in a lot
Playing
of
with
his
how money,
games.
yeah.
But this year, he's kind of a favorite in most of his matches, so I think that has
Mhm.
led to some difficulties. But I do
Mhm.
think it's going to be enough to take care of business against Babarika, and he's going to be a
I
very
I think he'll probably win,
Yeah, very scary
whether it's
3 and
1 or
3
2.
player. Whoever loses this one
Yeah.
could be a nightmare draw for a 5-1 as their first match easily.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so that should be good. I mean, all of these are going to be good to watch. Finally, on the
Sure.
slide, we have MBO versus Turk, which is actually a rematch from last year's playoffs, where Turk was able to take 2 games off MBO.
Oh, wow. I have MBO winning this one. I think he's a little bit better than me, and I beat Turk 3-2. MBO is way better than me at a lot of the ultra maps that Turk is so good at, so I think this is a pretty easy win for MBO, who's got Turk's strengths without having any noticeable weaknesses compared to him.
Yep, I've given it 3-1 to MBO. Um,
Yep.
Yeah, I think if Turk plays at his peak, this series could be more interesting. Or if MBO plays the way he did against Babarika, he looked very sloppy that week in both competitive match and
Hmm.
practice. He was dropping games to everyone in practice, but he seemed to turn it
Oh,
around this week. So I think he's going to be back to being more than
yeah.
capable of beating both Turk and his wife as he did in week 1. So Turk family going down at the hands of MBO. Turk had that really nice comment in Tourney Hype where he said, "You beat my wife, and now I'm going to take revenge." So yeah,
Now let's hope Kirk never has to play his wife and win. That's awful.
yeah. Okay. I also think Turk hasn't really shown his best since he got back from his trip a couple weeks ago when he played
No.
you. I
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. I know Turk can play better than what he's shown in the tournament. He should have absolutely decimated Red Zone if he was having a good day, and that's not what we saw. So we'll see what he can bring to the table this week. I know he's got something a bone to pick with MBO, you could say. Next one already happened, but what were your predictions coming into this for Lasharka's first Kago?
I thought that Shark had a bit of an advantage, but I mean, it was so even in every single way that it's just a crapshoot. Uh, I think I bet on Shark, but as we're about to find out, that did not come to fruition.
It did not. I went for Kago 3-2 because I think in solo hunt Kago's probably going to be a bit better. Lasharkus has a bit more grasp on the multiplayer aspects of the game.
That is
Um,
true. Yeah. So this match, because Shark introduced Keiko to the game and they're college roommates, they only have one real working computer, and they can't play each other at the same time. So they had to just do separate solo hunt matches for each map. So Keiko would pick a map and then they each play it solo hunt one after the other to see who did better, and that's how it was determined. And Keiko really excelled at that. He won 3-1.
and hunting around was by 1 point. I saw the last spawn
Yeah,
come
so
in. I added it up in my
Keiko got,
head, and it was enough to win by 1 point. I was like, he has this. And then he got it with 1 second to go, and that was that.
yeah, Shark had 130 and Keiko got 131.
Yeah.
I guess when you lose to your roommate and a pool of people who are entirely unrelated to you, you can only be so mad.
Yeah, this would have been so depressing if it was for a playoff spot. Fortunately, this was a 4-2
Uh-huh.
on the line.
Yeah, luckily they both make it. They both will get their chance to play. I don't think they could play each other.
No, they definitely. Well,
Well, I don't think
I guess they could.
well,
Not
not
round
first
one.
round. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But what do we think of Kago being a top 15 player
I
starting
think
2
it's
months
great for
ago?
the game. I think it's great to see some, random off the wall person come in, not impressed on the pre-seed, uh, and go 4-2 with 5-1 or 4-1 record after week one.
Yeah.
Or wait,
No, he
they
was
go.
three
They
and
win three,
he
four,
was
five.
2-2, and then went 3-2, beating Hughes Matt, and now 4-2.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. So he went 4-1 after my match. That's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he could probably play you much closer now today. So you were lucky to play in
Oh
week
yeah.
1.
I both hope and really do not hope that we meet in the playoffs.
That'd be an exciting rematch to see.
For sure.
And he's only gonna get better with time. He's got a week off
Yeah.
after week 6 with the break week
Yeah.
to get even better. And you best be sure he's gonna analyze his opponent and prepare as much as
Oh
anyone
yeah.
in this tournament. So
And well, I'll be able to prepare because of that break week. But if there wasn't a break week, I would have no time to prepare for my play-in match.
hmm yeah, I'll be in Singapore starting Saturday.
Oh, well,
So I would have missed probably the playing week.
gotta go visit the Singapore server.
Yeah, would finally see some more use. Not that I want to use it.
No, if only you had to play Power John.
Yeah, that'd be a great fair game.
All right, and
Anyway,
then we've got Eurogamer Jax, and I think this could end up being the best game of the week because Eurobeater is more well-rounded, but if Jax plays up to his potential, he could easily take this because Eurobeater is very good, but kind of nothing more. He's not really going to beat the great people or take many games off them, but he's still a very good player. Jax is very inconsistent, as we've seen. He's had some really good matches and some really not good matches. So I'm going 3-2 Eurobeater. Um, but it could be pretty much any score, although I don't think it's going to be a sweep.
I don't think it's going to be a sweep either, but I've given it 3-1 to Jax. I think Jax is just too
Oh,
quick of a player for Eurobeater to really get a say in the match. And I think Jax is kind of a bad draw for Eurobeater because Jax is all speed, no aggression. And when you're playing someone that's in high ping in Russia or Europe or wherever it is, it's kind of the aggressive players that are going to have a disadvantage playing against ping diff. But Jax is just going to pick quick maps and be quick. And there's not really a whole lot Eurobeater can do about that. Yeah. Either way, I could see this going either way depending on who shows up on the day, and that's kind of the exciting aspect about this tournament. All right, 4-1 matches. All these are extremely deadly between tournament contenders. First up, we have Eguy taking on Voltage.
Yeah, you don't want to play a pissed off Voltage. I'm just gonna say that. Not a good idea. Eguy is very, very good, especially in the playoffs, but I don't really see anything that would put him over the edge versus Voltage. I think he takes the game, but I'm going Voltage 3-1.
I'm also going Voltage 3-1. Yeah. I want to give analysis, but I don't know how much there is to say, to be honest. Eguy's very quick. Voltage is very quick. Eguy's definitely worked a lot on his aggression this year, but, I mean, Voltage has that too. Yeah. Voltage is really
just
good.
not really any advantage when Voltage is just a little bit better at everything Eguy does.
Yeah. I know I just beat Voltage, but I don't know what this guy's weakness is still. So it's really hard for me to, like, see a window.
I guess it's really bad, like Eye of the Storm, but I don't even know.
Yeah. I don't know. Voltage is a very confusing player to me at the moment, but he's just that good.
For sure.
So, yeah, we'll have to see. I definitely hope Eguy can do some damage because I want this to be an interesting match, and Eguy definitely doesn't deserve to have 2 losses. He's too good of a player. This is just really unfortunate that Voltage is in this bracket with him because I feel like he could beat anyone else in this bracket.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure we'll see Voltage come back with a vengeance after the previous one. He's got a lot to prove after what happened after our match today.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have John versus Noctis. I think this is an absolute banger of a game. What do you think is going to happen?
This could be really, really good. I think John's aggression is just going to put him over the top. See, do I have 3-2 or 3-1 to John? I have 3-1 to John.
Okay, I've gone 3-2 to John.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a toss up.
The reason I went with 2 is because I feel like there's enough maps in the pool that Noctis can just be way too fast on for John. Kind of similar with Jax Eurobeater, where John is not going to have Mega Marbles at the ready to really counter that, and Noctis is just going to run around flying.
If Noctis picks smart, he could easily take 2, maybe even 3 if the randomizer favors him.
Yeah, at that point, it's just going to come down to the randomizer. Because likewise, John can pick stuff Noctis is not going to have a chance at.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think it'll be really competitive for that reason. Whoever takes their opponent's pick definitely will win the series.
Definitely a match of the week candidate, depending how things play out.
Yep, all of these in this 4-1 bracket are, for sure.
Oh, yeah. There's so many.
All right, moving on to me versus Frostfire, the 5-0 match. Whoever wins this is going to be undefeated in Swiss and take the #1 seed for playoffs. Tell me what you're thinking about this one.
Most parts of me want to say that you will win because of your aggression and some common factors, but the one thing that would say Frostfire is that you beat Connie 3-2 barely. Frostfire swept her. So I think Frost is the more consistent player. Like on a day-to-day basis, they're always going to be very good. But if you pick the right maps, get some decent luck, and play your best, you can definitely beat them. And that's what I have. I think I have 3-1 to you.
That's bold. But
I'm also going off my game with both you, even though it's been a while, and Frostfire, where I did a little bit better versus Frost.
Yeah, I've definitely played Frost a lot in friendlies, and Frost gives me a really hard time. They're probably
Interesting.
the
It's kind of like a just very specific
yeah. At the same
thing to
time, I
do.
have more of an idea of what to play against them than I ever did for Voltage. So because of
Yeah,
that, I have more direction with my play. So it's going to be really interesting. I think Frost is probably favored overall once we're going to have all the bets come in, which is totally fair to me. I think that makes sense, just given their vast amount of
yeah,
experience. But I hope it can make it a good series.
I think you will.
All right. Moving on to our featured matchup for the week. Last slide of the show today, we have Zedron versus Endy. Tell me why you wanted this one to be the featured matchup.
I wanted this one because it's, I think, the upset pick that's most likely to happen. And for some reason, if we're going off challenge, it's not an upset. But I still think that Zedron would generally be favored. Even if you don't think it's an upset pick, this should be a really good match because of somewhat clashing playstyles and especially map picks. You can see here Zedron likes green,
Deep
and
analysis.
Endy likes the new map.
Uh huh.
So I know Zedron has played some of the new maps and gotten really good at them, but others not so much. So Endy needs to definitely do his research to see which of them Zedron is experienced with and how those results have gone from before. Because he's beatable. He's still really good, but he is beatable with the deep, deep pool of talent we have.
Right. I don't know where to start with this one. It's so interesting. This is actually 3 versus 4 in the Elo leaderboard. So outside of me and Frost being the top of the table, like this is the in theory the second best talent match in the all of week 6.
Yeah.
So definitely a good pick here. Also, it's really interesting is they both picked the niche map of Apex this season. So it could be a very interesting randomizer
I
there.
I was so good at Apex 23 and 24. I just haven't had a reason to pick it this year, and I don't think I'm gonna in my next match, but I can't say for sure. Nor do I want to.
Uh, Trying to throw him off, huh? A little bit. Secretly preparing
You
Apex.
can go in expecting me to pick and not pick it.
Yeah, nicely done. Yeah, I think Endy is in better form right now. Is kind of the main thing.
For sure. And he has the momentum with a great match against Mazik and some other impressive wins.
Yeah, I think if you can beat Mazik, you can probably beat this year's Zedron.
Exactly. That's my main reason for picking this.
So what's your game prediction?
I have it 3-2 to Endy. I think going to be a close match. I'd be shocked if Zedron didn't get at least one. And vice versa. I think it's really going to come down to how the randomizer pool favors their playstyles.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I've actually gone 3-2
And
to
I don't
Zedron.
know if there's like a huge ping disadvantage. I don't think because
No, they're both in the U.S., so it shouldn't be a huge difference. They're going to alternate servers, but it's not going to be a debilitating factor.
Nope, not at all.
But yeah, I've gone 3-2 for Zedron. I don't know. He's been practicing this week a little bit. He's been playing some 1v1s. I feel like he's going to show up. I feel like this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't.
It should be a really good match regardless. I think it'll definitely be a randomizer.
Yeah. I don't know how much surface area there is for Endy to find maps that can attack Zedron really effectively. Like, he has stuff like the Cragmire he can pull out. But, I mean, Zedron should really be expecting this at this point. Like, I don't know. It really comes down to how much does Zedron care about preparing for the match. If he prepares, I think he
Endy
wins.
might honestly. Endy could be best picking PQ maps as opposed to new maps, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that is where his kind of traditional weak point is.
He's particularly good at like PCC or on the Lupus or just things that Zedron doesn't play very much.
Well, that's the thing is that Endy is also a very classic map player. He loves the MBU stuff because he's been around for years. He's not a Lupus player. He's not a PCC player.
It's strength on strength. I was not fully sure about that, so thank you for letting me know.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I'm not sure if Endy's really the player to exploit Zedron's map pool. I think he's going to play close because he's playing well, not because he finds map picks that he can win on reliably. I think it's not out of the question that he wins some of Zedron's picks. But
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, it's that's why it's going to be such an interesting match for me.
Mhm.
All right. Any final thoughts about either this match or this week or anything you want to say to everyone?
Well, not for this match. This week, really, really good games. I could see us having the best game of the tournament this week. Whether it's this one or some of the other 3-1 or 2-2 matches. Not now 3-2 or 4-1 matches. And happy to be here. I watched the last couple you did with other people, and I really enjoyed them. So wanted to join you with them and give my own thoughts.
Yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time and showing interest and also coming on. So yeah, all the analysis you gave today was really phenomenal. So thanks a lot, Jacob.
Thank you. No problem.
All right, that's gonna do it for us here. Leave a comment if you enjoyed the video. Ping me and Tourney Hype, all that good stuff. And yeah, best of luck in your games, everyone.